now? What you gotta say now? Yeah, who you know realer? No problem sharing all my demons with the sinners. Bullet in the chamber and I'm aiming for some millions.
One-stop destination for everything pop culture. My name is Aston. On today's episode of Lost Movie News, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And let's get on with the stories. So our first story of the day is Gold. So this movie, it came out on December 30th around the world. It hasn't really branched out to a real global release yet, but it just released its first red band trailer. And this red band trailer, I had a joy with it. I love this trailer. I love seeing everything going on with it. And it's basically based on a real story. We got Matthew McConaughey starring in it. It's due to come out the 27th of January, and it's directed by Stephen Gahan. So, going on in the trailer, we see he's basically looking for a gold mine. He finds one that ends up being the biggest gold mine out there. So we see he's approached by different people, and throughout the trailer, we see him turning people down. We see the biggest gold owner, like gold mine owner, comes and visits him like this hot tub. He gets out like butt naked, and I love the way Matthew McConaughey transforms for his roles now. Like, I don't know if that's him or a body double or what, because whoever that was definitely wasn't at the normal Matthew McConaughey body we're used to. When we seen him all fat, he had like the side handles and everything, and the love handles and everything. It's crazy to see that. And this trailer was really good. Like, I really cannot respect. Like, I'm really excited about this film. I'm definitely going to see it on the 27th. I know I said about a lot of films, but I'm definitely going to be there when this film come out. Like, I'm a big Matthew McConaughey fan, and I really enjoy his work. Even like back in his old days, like Failure to Launch and How to Lose a Guy in like 10 Days, which was my favorite film, by the way. Like, that's what I can't even lie about that. That's like my favorite film. I watched that. Like, I don't know what it is, but that's like my favorite film, and it's pretty cool to see that. Now, what else can I say about this? They released 2 regular trailers. I actually enjoyed the regular trailers also, but as far as the red band, I actually enjoyed the red band trailer even more. Now, our second story of the day is Cars 3. Now, earlier this week, they released a teaser trailer, and it released a couple images of other characters. So we seen, I forgot, it was like a yellow Camaro and a high-tech black and blue car, which I think were both amazing, like both great images. They also released the image for Lightning McQueen. We obviously know what he looks like. They added some little detail to him, like his championships and everything, obviously. But besides that, he's basically the same for everything. We got Owen Wilson reprising his role. Like, I'm pretty sure he wasn't going to turn this down. It's like easy money. Why would he not return? Even though the second one wasn't as in high regards as the first one, it makes sense for him to come back. This movie is due out the 27th of June, and of course I'm going to be there. Of course I am. Cars 3. I like Mortar. It's not too much. Like, I love the characters in these films. Mortar is one of my favorite characters of the film. We see he actually being brought back. We see in this trailer that Owen Wilson basically, he's out of his match. Well, not Owen Wilson, but Lightning McQueen is out of his match. He's an older car. We got newer model coming in, high tech. We see the new car is basically on a 3-win streak after McQueen crashes, and it basically tell him, you're never going to recover. You're never going to be what you were. And it reminds me of like older athletes, especially like when Kobe got hurt. When he tore his Achilles, everyone just counted him out, which he was. He was pretty washed up after he got hurt, but that's a story for another day. When he went down, we see it took him forever to get back to his groove and everything, especially since he's an older player. It was harder for him to bounce back than like how he used to when he was a younger player. Now, we see with Lightning McQueen, he has the same issue. He's in a big accident. We see him rolling over in the middle. Like all 4 of his tires blow out. It was pretty bad. And it was a really great trailer. I liked what they did with it. We see the dirt road. Like, I think it was supposed to be for like, what do they call that when like the cars all crash each other? I forget what those are called. But we see that he goes to one of those type of racetracks. He's learning. He tells him like, we can't make you faster than him. We can't make you faster. What we can do is make you a smarter driver. And that makes sense. Like, it makes sense that you might not be you might not like a straight race, you might not be able to beat them, but when it comes to just knowing the basics, you can definitely out basic him to where you win the race. As with sports also, like you see people doing these flashy dribbles and everything, or these flashy shots, and there's people who are just doing routine basketball who are winning, like the Spurs. They're in the not final, but they're in the playoffs every year. They're older, and yet they're not playing flashy. They always do like 3 passes, then a shot. But we see them always competing at a high level because they play routine basketball. They stick to the basics and they play as a team. Now I feel like the same way for Lightning McQueen. If he sticks to the basics and just race off experience and not off flash and everything, he'll be fine. Which is probably going to show in this film. I don't know how they're going to do it. They might actually have him lose at the end and have him like pass the torch to a new car. And that'd be cool to see that also. But other than that, that's really all we have for this story. Now, moving on to DreamWorks. DreamWorks Animation has now, they basically selected a new president, Chris Barrera. He used to be the president for WB. He had to step down when Comcast actually bought WB in April. They bought it for like 3.87. So it's good to see him bounce back. He's still in the industry. He switched to a new company. I don't know. I understand it as far as business wise. It makes sense. But what does he know about marketing? Obviously, he has a team about him, but I feel like DreamWorks is going to be a different setup than Warner Brothers. Yes, Warner Brothers has a lot of superhero stuff, but Warner Brothers aren't a big animation. They just aren't a big animation line. We see a lot of animation. We don't really see too much animation come from there. So, as far as cartoons, yes, we see a lot coming from there, but we don't really see too many feature films coming from their production slate. Now, going back to DreamWorks, I think it'd be a pretty good. I'm pretty sure once he figures everything out, and it'll be a good fit. DreamWorks are actually on the up right now. They're making some pretty good films. I really didn't like. I'm pretty sure Home was DreamWorks. I like Turbo. Who else was DreamWorks? I can't really remember what else came from DreamWorks. I really don't remember. Oh, Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph DreamWorks. I think Wreck-It Ralph might have been Disney. There's another film I'm thinking about. I'll remember it later. I definitely remember it later. But we know they got Shrek. I think they're making another Shrek, so DreamWorks will be fine. I like to see what they're going to do that they hold in the future. They definitely need to get their animation, step up their animation, because when it comes to animation, everybody goes to Pixar and Disney, and those who we hire and who we place at the top of it. So we need Warner Brothers to step it up, or not Warner Brothers, but DreamWorks to step it up, and hopefully, hopefully make some better, definitely make some better film, more quality films in the future. And maybe Chris Barrera will be what they need to do. Will be who they need to help them get to that level. Now, moving on to our next story, we have the George Lucas Museum. So the George Lucas Museum has finally found its home. It's going to be in Los Angeles, California. It's going to be 100 square. As we see these images right here, we see it's going to be a futuristic a futuristic design, which I really like. We see it's probably from the second image. We see they're planning on having it very close to the stadium, which is really cool. We see it's designed by Mad Architects. It's 100,000 square feet for the gallery space on a 6 to 7 square acres of green space. So I think that'd be pretty cool. It's gonna be like 10 miles of southeast Hollywood, and hey, it's pretty cool. We know there's a lot of other museums over here. We got the Los Angeles Memorial Museum, we got the Science Museum, we got the African American Museum over there. So I think it's a pretty good thing to have it over with the other museums. Even like the History Museum of Los Angeles County is over there. So it's pretty cool if they're just going to place this in the district with the rest of the museums. It makes a lot of sense. It's going to be even more traffic. I wonder if they're gonna start doing like, I think it'd be cool to have some of the Star Wars events inside this museum. They definitely gotta have some space like open. I'm pretty sure Disney and Lucas are talking like, look, we can have some like viewings and things inside this place. I mean, it makes sense. They're definitely gonna have some Star Wars art in there. I think there's like I'm definitely gonna check this out once it get built. It's gonna be about $1 billion venture, and it's just gonna celebrate everything that's part of storytelling. It's the Exposition Museum, and I think it's really cool to see what's all gonna be in here. Cause we know it's gonna be painting, gonna be illustration, photography, film, animation, digital art. All this stuff is gonna be in there. And I really can't wait to see what it really is. I'm definitely gonna pay a visit there. I know people that live in the area, so it'd definitely be cool just to go over there for a weekend, check out the museums and everything, and have a good time. Now, going on from there, we have more Episode 8 news. So Episode 8, we had Rian Johnson talking again. So this is really confusing because yesterday we had a story come out where Rian Johnson was saying he didn't have a title yet. He wanted to fill the film out and see where it goes. Now today he's talking and he's saying he knew the title of the film since day one. Like since the earliest draft, he knew the title of this film. Which is like, what is going on here? Like, what is going on? Either you do have a title or you don't. So obviously, apparently he has a title and he's known the title this whole time. So going on from there, he's saying this story is going to focus obviously on the newer characters. He didn't mention Leia, but he definitely mentioned Luke. He mentioned Rey. He mentioned Poe. Who else did he mention? Rey, Poe, Luke, Finn. Hey, he mentioned everybody. Basically, Luke is going to be the emotional attachment for this film. He definitely didn't mention Kylo, but he definitely mentioned Finn and Rey. And Poe. He said these three characters, he's trying to figure out what could be their challenge. He already figured out what their challenge. He wanted to display what could be their challenges and how they're going to overcome those challenges of this movie. We know one of Rey's challenges is basically adapting to being with the Force. We know about that. I feel like, I don't know what Poe's going to be, but for Finn, his is probably going to be having to do this physical recovery from being like wounded in Episode 7. Now he has his pride wounded, he has his confidence destroyed, and he's physically injured. So now he's gonna have to do all this recovery just to bounce back to be what we expected him to be. And maybe we see him also starting to lean on the Force a little bit more, and him struggling with that the Force being awakened him also. Now, with that being said, Rian Johnson also came out and said this film is going to be exciting, it's going to be fun, it's going to be a roller coaster ride. Everything we expect from a Star Wars film. He's basically going to wrap all the original prequel trilogy together, mix it in with a little Episode 7 just to get Episode 8. And it makes sense. It really makes sense. Like, there's no way you can have a Star Wars film without some humor, without it being fun. Episode 7 is fun. We get to see like our new cast members working with the old cast members, and everyone enjoyed that. Yes, we had some sorrow parts there, especially when Han died. It was sad to see that. This film, we don't know how they're going to do Leia's role, because Leia's role was apparently getting bigger in each film. So only time will tell once we see the film on like. It's expected, I know in the UK it's coming out on the 15th of December, so we're expecting it maybe a day or two later, which is normally what happens for us with Star Wars. It definitely will be out by the 19th of December. So I'm just like really excited for this film. Like, I'm the biggest Star Wars fan. This is fan. This is my favorite franchise out there. Yes, I like everything. I love Marvel Universe. I love all the other things that are going on. But when it comes to sci-fi adventure, it's Star Wars for me. Like, that's what I feel like growing up on. I love the cartoons. I love, like, Yoda was the first thing that made me come over to Star Wars. Honestly, I've seen like little things of Yoda holding a lightsaber, and I've always just been a fan of Star Wars. Like, ever since I can remember, I've been a fan since Star Wars. I remember the first time I seen like the the remastered commercial of New Hope on the trailer, and I begged my grandmother to get it for me. She didn't get it for me, but I ended up seeing the film, and now I watch these films on a regular basis. Like, I watch Star Wars on a regular basis. I'll be cleaning up, and I'll have Episode 7 just in the background playing, and that's, to me, that's normal. Even some people are like, oh, that's weird. You can just clean your house while Episode 7 in the background, but it does, like, it's called, I guess, like, for me, it's like, it's soothing to me. It's just normal to me. It's part of my routine, and it's fun. This is what I do. Like, I can't wait to see Episode 8. Maybe that'll replace my Episode 7 in the background while I'm cleaning, but until then, I'm just going to keep waiting, soaking up all the information we can get for this film, relaying it on to you guys, and hoping that you guys appreciate that. Moving on to our next story of the day, we got Logan. So Logan is expected to premiere in the Berlin Fest. Now, this isn't abnormal for films because we've seen other films do this too. They kind of premiere at these festivals and everything, get the hype blowing so the critics can like go out, let people know how they feel about this film. So this is pretty normal, pretty typical for the film. I'm just hoping this film is better than the last two Wolverines. This is Hugh Jackman's last run as Wolverine, as far as we know. We heard the little rumors between that Ryan Reynolds trying to convince him to come back for a Deadpool Wolverine movie. He's trying to get the fans involved. And it makes sense for him to do that. Don't get me wrong, it makes sense. This film, something like that would be a great thing to see. I would love to see Deadpool and Wolverine in another film together where Deadpool is actually like characterized correctly. I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but no one can, we can't count it out at this point. We see even Hugh Jackman was talking about it just comes at a bad time for me. I really don't want to do this anymore. But he thinks it'd be a perfect fit for, he sees how the movie could work together. So I don't know if he's actually going to pass up on it or do it, but only time will tell. Moving on to our next story of the day. We got Guardians. So yesterday, Guardians released two pictures. One was Star-Lord standing in a tunnel. Second was Drax and Star-Lord talking to each other. And today we got 13 more photos. It was 15 in total. Two or three of them Baby Groot. It was at least three. Because we have Baby Groot, which we've seen hundreds of times. It was just him with a little red jacket on, with the big puffy eyes, being all innocent. And then we've seen two more Baby Groot with the we've seen this scene actually in the trailers where he's where Rocket's trying to teach him how to push the button or when to push the button. So we've seen that. We've seen a couple action shots of Star-Lord. We've seen Drax carrying the bag. We've seen an action pic of Gamora. We've seen Rocket. And what can I say? My favorite film, not my favorite film, but my favorite picture is Baby Groot with the big eyes, but Gamora comes in a close second. Gamora or Star-Lord? Because we see Star-Lord doing a little action pose when he has his little blasters or pistols, whatever they're called. And we see Gamora does her little samurai stand with the sword out. So both of these pictures look really amazing to me. Like I said, there's 13 pictures with the Drax with the bag. There's just so many different pictures, and I enjoyed them all. All of them are we've seen some of them in context or out of context. They don't really mean too much, but even though we've seen the trailer, so we know where some of them actually go. So it was cool to see that. I'm glad they're releasing footage, getting everybody excited for this film. I really can't wait for it to come out. I really can't wait for this film to come out. Like I said, it's a matter of time. I'm just waiting to see. Woo. Yeah, I just can't wait to see this film. Everybody's talking about Rey's parents. We know Star-Lord's father. We need to see Star-Lord's dad in the film, finally. I wonder what other characters they're actually going to bring in this film. We know all the major ones, but let's see who else they're going to surprise us with when this film comes out. Now, move from Guardians over to Avengers. Yesterday in our news, we had Zoe Saldana basically confirming that she's going to be in Avengers. Now today we have Tom Holland confirming he's going to be in Avengers. And who is not excited about this? About a month, more than a month ago, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, we had Tom Holland talking about oh, I don't know if I'm going to be in Infinity Wars. All the business aspects haven't been worked out yet, so we don't know if I'm actually going to be in that film. And now today comes out, Tom Holland's confirming it. So we got Spider-Man in Infinity Wars. We got Gamora confirmed. We got Thor, Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America. Who else? Scarlet Witch. I mean, the list continues. Like, even got some smaller people. We got Liv Tyler confirmed. We have Gwyneth Paltrow confirmed. Everyone's here. Only person we don't know is coming is Jane Foster. Like, Jane Foster got to come back. We need Jane Foster back. Let's come back for one. Just for the first part of Infinity War. You can kill her right there. Or you can even make her Thor, have her come back for Infinity Wars Part 2. And that'd be a twist right there. If she can turn into Thor, I'm hoping, like, I'm just saying, this is a very big film. Like, everyone's in this film. This film, like, Nick Fury's coming back. I don't even remember the last time we seen Nick Fury. Nick Fury's back. I think the last time we seen Nick Fury was Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron. So it's been over a year since we seen Nick Fury on screen with the rest of the Avengers. And boy, I can't wait for this. Like, this film not even, it's going to be about 2 years since we seen it, because this film didn't even come out until May 18th. So it would have been like 2.5 years. 2.5 years. It would have been 2.5 years since we've seen Nick Fury on screen. And I think that's way too long to go without Nick Fury. He's like the center of the universe. Well, not the center of the universe, but he's like the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, we got to see him. Hopefully they can bring S.H.I.E.L.D., find a way to bring S.H.I.E.L.D. back too. Because we've seen S.H.I.E.L.D. is back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I wonder how that's going to affect the Marvel universe. That's what we need to know. Like, I wonder how it's going to actually affect the movie if S.H.I.E.L.D. is actually back in the movie universe. Because we know the Avengers actually went out on their own at the end of Civil War. So only time, like, I definitely want to see if S.H.I.E.L.D. back and see that's how they're going to pull Nick Fury back in. Because we've seen in Civil War that Nick Fury has the helicopter, the helicarrier, and that's basically the beginning of S.H.I.E.L.D. starting to come back out. I wonder, that wasn't Civil War. That wasn't Civil War. That was actually Age of Ultron. Dang. Boy. Well, that's really all we had today, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share it so your friends can see. And as always, stay up.
Nigga, I be in the clouds, shooting for the stars. I don't know my way down. Nah, baby.